Hello YouTube, this is Volcano Lion, come to you pre-recorded from his camper. The natural order pyramid, the structure by which Chaldeanism forms its worldview on, and organizes itself by, is fundamentally inspired by astrology. Using the geocentric tropical zodiac birth chart, and all the nuances applied to it, the modes, the houses, the planets, and their symbologies, and the elements. The goal is to take astrology's holistic worldview that looks at things from a 3D 360-degree model of what it means to be human from both within the person's personal world as well as without in their everyday life, and channel it into a system that can organize this comprehension into a person's life and make it a fully functional way of living. The hope is that it will allow the individual to so fully get a grip on their own life that they will become an actual functional human being that lives a life-affirming life rather than a life-denying life, rife with darkness and confusion. Life-affirming being the overall goal and good of Chaldeanism, and life-denying being the bad and the thing that it seeks to reduce. This is, in essence, my attempt to create a lighthouse that will help people see and be seen. The following videos from this one will go into details of each aspect of the natural order and Chaldeanism itself, but this one will focus on the overall structure of the pyramid and clarify the terminology used in future videos. Starting from the very foundation are the pylons of the pyramid, the power source and life givers that gives the overall pyramid function and stability. Without the 4 pylons, the rest of the system simply doesn't work, or worse yet, inverts on itself and becomes corrupt. This is also why the pylons are also called the tetramorph. Symbolically, the tetramorph has been known as a guardian of sacred places and the union of 4 differing elements that come together to create a comprehensive whole. The 4 elements being fire, air, water, and earth. These 4 shape and give coloring to the astrological chart, organizing the chart's zodiacal signs, houses, and rulers into comprehensive camps that makes the characteristics more relatable and easier to visualize. In the pyramid, this is also used to give a fully developed body for each of the areas to which the pylons represent. As an example, fire represents aggression, positivity, hopefulness, authority, competitiveness, our willpower, and above all else, our passions. This is fully understood by the 3 zodiac signs that represent fire, their relatable houses, and the lords by which they are ruled by. This is also the reason why knowing the basics of astrology is imperative to fully understand the rational language used when describing the 4 elements in these respective areas, and frankly the rest of Chaldeanism and the natural order as well. The pylons are, in essence, the foundational concepts, morals, thought processes, and regions by which the rest of the pyramid uses to understand itself. It is the raw resources that are then further refined through the rest of the natural order into actual organized effects in the physical world. This is further expressed by the 12 houses located at the center of the tetramorph, which represents all the different aspects of a person's life to which the tetramorph may affect in that person's place within the pylons framework. It also represents the earth as the ground zero foundation of how we orient ourselves within the world as well. As I like to say, you are just as much a product of your environment as your environment is a product of you. Moving from there, the pylons are funneled into and refined by the holy triad or trident of the natural order. The 3 points of the pyramid, represented by body, mind, and spirit, takes the raw energy of the pylons and directs it into the 3 areas of focus in a person's life. These areas encompass the three ways by which we orient ourselves to the world around us and how we interface with it. How we balance our lives in such a way where we won't end up self-destructing and living a life-denying existence that drags the individual down and by proxy those around you down as well. It's a three-way scale that builds a way to understand the interactions of the pylons below and to measure out the overall health of the natural order in whatever subject it is being applied to. It's a system of checks and balances as well as a mechanism that helps focus our imagination and problem-solving skills into a framework, a forge if you will, that allows us to create a specific range of tools that can be tested and used or discarded based on its effectiveness in the balancing the triad. This is different in how we conduct ourselves now, in that any answer will do so long as it relieves the immediate problem without fully realizing that the current solution is only tipping the scales in the other direction, creating yet more problems. The natural order's way is a proactive way of understanding problems rather than just a reactive way of throwing anything and everything on the plate until it seems like it's fixed. Perfect example of this would be something like our current economic policy of just keep throwing money at it. Chaldean economics has a bit more of a nuanced view of that particular area of society. From the center of the scale, a fourth measurement is made, that of the leveling by which the scale moves up or down on. This pillar is represented by a central concept that encompasses the three plates of the scale, a fully developed view of what all three plates together signify that in usual fashion is a very vague thing in society. The concept of honor in Chaldean tribalism is an example of this. The dichotomy in this case usually represents what is life-affirming versus life-denying and should reflect either the rising of society's health or its degradation. This pillar is further represented by a separate system called the dichotomies, the individual building blocks of the pyramid that represents two opposing forces that are usually set against each other in this overall structure. The dichotomies represent a clearer understanding of the overall direction that a person is going in their life, or at least an aspect of it. In Chaldeanism and astrology, this is well represented by each of the governing planetary rulers or lords that govern every aspect of our existence. This dichotomy is not represented by a binary of good or evil, nor life-affirming versus life-denying. Rather, it's a measurement of two completely neutral forces. That's measurement of extremeness and temperance creates the potential for what we call good and evil, and what Chaldeanism calls life-affirming and life-denying actions. This is where the natural order gets its concept of what is moral from, what is acceptable and what is not. In this system, evil takes root when the dichotomies go to their extreme ends, becoming so overbearing in one direction that the infamous rubber band effect takes place and shoots itself on the other side of the dichotomy, crossing the boundary of inversion, as it is called, and becoming an inverted state of the natural dichotomy that it once was. The ideal is not to get away from the other side, but to go towards it, meeting in the middle and marrying one another, then to force one side to submit to the other. This measurement of dichotomies lays down, brick by brick, as the pillar progresses upward or downward, forming the body of what the natural order is trying to construct or breaking depending on the unbalanced ebbs of each level of the dichotomy and the understructure of the triad and the tetramorph. The dichotomies are the very visible representations of the overall stability of the structure, cracking, or hardening based on the inner health of the pyramid's purity. When the pyramid is healthy, however, and each dichotomy manages to balance out, a unity is created in the one, the tip of the pyramid. The one represents the overall product that is created by the end of the natural order's processing. It could be any overall goal that is trying to be achieved by the system, or is even the unintended consequence of its success. The one is a mystery, really, whatever it may be, and is really best represented as the unforeseen destination of the natural order's journey. It can be guessed at, being what is symbolically the spirit of the natural order. It then becomes the true foundation of the pyramid's overall point of existing, the true underlying achievement that it's trying to reach, and the essence that guides its actions all the way through. In Chaldean tribalism, as an example, it's the formation of the tribe, which at its trident is the formation of an honorable union between all its members and the creation of a life-affirming environment for children to be born and raised in by the virtues of the four pylons. The overall goal, in essence, is to be a place that puts children first and foremost before anything else, they being the true oneness of the tip of the tribal pyramid. From the one, the lords are represented as looming over the natural order, ever governing and influencing the actions that create and destroy the pyramid's formation. The lords are viewed as the guardians and beacons of the natural order, their personalities referring the board that we play out from our free will. They each rule an aspect of the natural order's playground. They each are the stars referenced when sailing through the tides of whatever arena that is trying to be navigated, with the natural order being the compass to navigate it. Each lord is a guiding light that helps us understand who we are, what we are doing, where we are going, and how to best get there. What is the hierarchical structure of influence within a problem's arena? What are the values that we should be exhibiting to best deal with the arena's challenges? Looking at the Lord's relationships, can we infer a better understanding of the arena itself? Can we develop a better trajectory of the arena's true nature? And can we develop real, tangible solutions to meet the arena's challenges now that we have a better grasp of it? Can the Lord show us how to function and help us understand what it even means to be human in the context of the arena, to keep us from becoming lost and victims to the tides and to sink to a place we never even meant to go to? Perfect example would be healthcare. Healthcare is meant to heal, not to enable, and yet that's exactly what our healthcare system does, and we do it in the name of empathy. In a future video going over the element of water, I'll show you why it's far from empathetic, but suffice to say, healthcare is rife with parasites. So, ending on that note, thank you, dear listener. If you like the video and my writing, I suggest checking out my library on Facebook through Google Cloud. My book, Warren, is a set of stories placed in the world of Warren and heavily influenced by many different ideas and beliefs that I hold in both high regard and close to my heart. Again, thank you for your time, and I look forward to lecturing you again in the next video. Bye.